right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
Another school threat, another student charged.
These are our children, these are our communities, and everyone's impacted.
Tonight, police explain how the punishment fits the crime.
Tropical trouble. Helene continues to strengthen tonight. The role the storm will play in our wet weekend forecast.
Just hours ago, the fight to save Marcellus Williams' life ended with his execution.
I think it's just unimaginable to any of us how we can be in this situation.
Tonight, the reaction pouring in from across the state.
More on that in a moment. First, breaking news. The superintendent of St. Louis Public Schools is out of a job just weeks into the start of the school year.
Just within the last few hours, we learned that the school board voted to fire Dr. Keisha Scarlett following weeks of our reporting of financial concerns within the district. It is a story Brent Solomon has followed closely since those concerns surfaced. He is live downtown. And Brent, you just heard from the embattled superintendent.
Sure did. She says she plans to fight the decision to let her go. When Dr. Scarlett got here from Washington State, she brought in someone she knew to work with her. Now it appears that person could be replacing her for now. Take a look at your screen right now. You'll recall Dr. Scarlett has served in St. Louis for 1 year. That was before the school board decided to cut ties. 2 months ago, the board placed her on paid temporary leave after questions surfaced over spending and top-level hires getting paid big bucks at the district office. That's when a firm came in to investigate. School leaders met behind closed doors Monday and made the unanimous decision to let the superintendent go for cause. The district said, quote, pursuant to her employment contract, Dr. Scarlett has the right to request a hearing before the Board of Education to contest the decision. If she elects to contest, she will remain on administrative leave until her hearing. If requested, the hearing is expected to take place before the end of October.
Now I think the only logical step is that we should see some resignations, because you can't hold her accountable and then give yourself a pass for enabling and supporting the errors that she made.
Dr. Millicent Borshade will serve as interim superintendent for the remainder of the school year. Although she does not have a certificate to be a superintendent in the state of Missouri, she has applied for one from the state. And within just the last 45 minutes, Dr. Keisha Scarlett responded, saying, quote, I am deeply disappointed by the City of St. Louis Board of Education's actions. I was placed on administrative leave 2 months ago without any warning. The board then conducted a secret investigation, never informing me of its scope or asking for my input. To be clear, she says, I have never been contacted or interviewed by anyone on behalf of the board and have not been told the reasons for their actions. Everything I know has come from media reports, end quote. That's just part of her statement. You can read it in its entirety right now at KSDK.com. By the way, since she was let go for cause, it would appear that the board does not have to pay her the rest of her contract. We're live downtown tonight. Brent Solomon, 5 on Your Side.
And we will keep you up to date on this breaking story on the air and online at KSDK.com. And be sure to have the KSDK News app to get notified directly from your phone as we learn more developments. 4 hours ago, the man convicted of killing a former St. Louis Post-Dispatch reporter at her University City home was executed.
Marcellus Williams died by lethal injection for the 1998 murder of Felicia Gale. Multiple protests erupted across the state before the execution, including here in St. Louis and in the state capitol. 5 on Your Side's Robert Townsend has the latest from Bonne Terre.
In just a matter of minutes, Marcellus Williams was executed by lethal injection here at the state prison in Bonne Terre.
At 6:01 p.m., the lethal injection of pentobarbital was administered. At 6:03 p.m., the 5-minute timer was set. At 6:10 p.m., Marcellus Williams was pronounced dead.
Throughout his high-profile case, Marcellus Williams maintained he was innocent in the murder of Felicia Gale 26 years ago. But prosecutors said on August 11, 1998, Williams took a bus to University City, started looking for a house to break into, and found Gale's home. Prosecutors said once inside, Williams attacked the former Post-Dispatch reporter and social worker more than 40 times with a butcher knife, killing her. The state says from April until June of 1999, while incarcerated at the St. Louis City Workhouse on unrelated charges, Williams confessed to a cellmate that he murdered Gale. Despite Williams' claims of innocence, mishandling of evidence, rallies to support him, and multiple appeals for a stay, Tuesday afternoon, the U.S. Supreme Court rejected last-minute appeals. The 55-year-old Williams was put to death. In a statement, his attorney, Tricia Bushnell, said in part, "Tonight, Missouri will execute an innocent man." St. Louis County Prosecutor Wesley Bell said this outcome did not serve the interests of justice.
We hope this gives finality to a case that has languished for decades, re-victimizing Miss Gale's family over and over again. No juror nor judge has ever found Williams' innocence claim to be credible.
Williams was the 139th person to be executed in the Show Me State since 1938. In Bonne Terre, Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
And no one from Felicia Gale's family attended the execution. Williams' son and 2 lawyers were there to witness it.
Turning now to the weather impact forecast, Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is tracking rain that continues to fall throughout the St. Louis area. Scott?
It's really scattered at this point. Most of us seeing an end to the widespread rainfall for sure. It's become scattered this evening. Still looking into downtown St. Louis, though. Outside of a few random raindrops, it's a good-looking evening around St. Louis as we finally push the last of these showers onto the Illinois side of the river. We're undergoing a bit of a pattern change right now, and that's going to bring us more unsettled weather towards the end of the week. But what's out there right now, moving away, weakening, getting out of the picture. So tomorrow morning for your early morning rush hour, we're out the door with a partly cloudy sky. The rain chances minimal. We're in the 50s, so jacket weather. Here's the latest on Helene. This update just in from the National Hurricane Center. 60-mile-per-hour winds. It's a tropical storm about 100 miles off to the east of Cozumel right now. It is going to be a major hurricane when it makes landfall in Florida, and it is going to have an impact on our weather later this week into the weekend, bringing us higher rain chances and some locally heavy rainfall. We'll break that down for you in just a few minutes, Kelly.
All right, Scott. Right now, Missouri American Water is investigating a water main break in Brentwood. It happened in the same area where crews were repairing a sinkhole. Utility officials say customers could experience low or no pressure, and we'll keep you updated as we learn more. Tonight, a student is being held in juvenile custody, accused of making a threat on Normandy High School.
5 on your side's Annie Kroll spoke with an investigator who says police are fed up with that recent string of threats made towards area schools. Annie?
Mike and Kelly, the North County Police Cooperative telling me today that student was charged with 1 count of making terroristic threats, emphasizing the serious consequences, which could potentially lead to more than a year in jail or confinement.
The North County Police Cooperative took a juvenile into custody Monday night, claiming he threatened a school shooting at Normandy High in, quote, the immediate future.
One of the district students had made aware on a Google platform for the district that he would carry out a school shooting.
Corporal Benjamin Santoyo says another student told their parent, who alerted police around 6:30 Monday night.
We operated pretty quickly on it, and we did find evidence that would suggest that, it was ultimately screened sufficient by the St. Louis County Juvenile Office.
Investigators say the suspect was a Normandy student, but would not confirm if he attended the high school. Police also stepped in to provide additional safety measures to the district.
It's becoming an epidemic. In the past week alone, a litany of agencies have gotten numerous complaints about potential school shootings.
Last week, an armed teen was arrested outside a school building after making threatening posts on social media against Rittner High School. He too was charged with making a terroristic threat. Numerous other threats have also disrupted schools in both Missouri and Illinois over the last few weeks. Santoyo's advice is when you see something, say something.
The family that self-reported this, that saw it, that made law enforcement aware, that made the school district aware, Had it not been for them, maybe we could be talking about a much different outcome.
The North County Police Co-op says it takes all threats seriously and investigates them as such. Anyone with information on this threat is asked to call investigators at 314-499-6090.
Tonight, we're learning more about the man charged with hitting and killing St. Louis police officer David Lee. Ramon Chavez Rodriguez faced DWI and domestic assault charges in St. Charles County in 2020. He was put on probation and was set to be taken off probation in October. Chavez Rodriguez was also facing an upcoming immigration hearing from an illegal immigration case in 2020. We asked an immigration lawyer why there's been a delay in that case.
So I would say there were three sources: COVID, the surge that happened, I would say at the time the Biden administration took over and people thought there was going to be a more lenient immigration policy, so more and more people came because of that. And now most recently, it's the interest in enforcing our immigration laws because of the election.
Cox also says there aren't enough immigration judges to get through the rising number of cases. Tonight, the funeral arrangements for Officer David Lee were announced. They will take place Saturday, October 5th. A visitation will be held from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Friendly Temple Missionary Baptist Church. A funeral will be held immediately afterwards. Members of the St. Louis Board of Aldermen are once again calling for more transparency at the City Justice Center. This comes after 5 on Your Side confirmed that CJC Commissioner Jennifer Clemens Abdullah is out on leave. Right now, it's not clear if that leave is medical or administrative. Alderman Kara Spencer and Rasheen Aldridge both told 5 on Your Side they believe Mayor Jones needs to clarify Clemens Abdullah's status and how it impacts day-to-day operations at the CJC.
The staff who are working there are really put in an unfortunate position. We don't have enough staff there, and it's not clear, what is happening next.
Hopefully, in the long term, this is maybe a start of a turning of the page and a new leaf at the jail.
The city spokesperson declined to comment on when Clemens Abdullah is expected to return.
Missouri Senator Josh Hawley is renewing calls to bring compensation to Missourians affected by radioactive waste. Hawley and advocates spoke today demanding the House of Representatives vote on the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act. The program expired in June. Hawley has been pushing to renew the bill and expand its coverage to include Missourians.
Tonight, St. Louis city leaders hosted a celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month.
They held the event at the City Hall Rotunda, and it wrapped up about 2 hours ago. The celebration was free to the public. It features authentic Hispanic foods and live music and dance performances. It all culminated with an award ceremony honoring Hispanic community members.
A baby lotion investigation going beyond the label. Tonight, Consumer Reports looks into the ingredients and the harm they may be causing. Helene is on the way.
Hide from the wind, run from the water.
Florida prepares for the worst as the tropical storm strengthens.
Helene is strengthening tonight. Look at those thunderstorms developing, getting brighter near the center. We have 36 to 48 hours of pretty nice autumn weather in St. Louis. Then the impacts from Helene start. How much rain we can expect on Friday and why those rain chances linger into the weekend.
Few things are as soft as a baby's skin, so you might think products made for them would be gentle and not harmful.
But that's not always the case. And tonight, Consumer Reports takes a closer look at what's in some popular baby lotions. And the results might surprise you.
A baby's skin can't regulate moisture as well as an adult, so parents often purchase special baby lotions to help meet their unique needs. Consumer Reports and fellow nonprofit organization Made Safe examine the ingredients of several popular baby lotions.
What we want to identify are ingredients that are concerned to human health. We want to also look at ingredients that impact our air, our water, our soil.
Of the 13 baby lotions, 7 from these brands had the most concerning ingredients: Aquaphor, Aveeno, Burt's Bees, CeraVe, Dove, Eucerin, and Johnson's.
Ingredients to avoid are ones that are potentially linked to cancer, such as preservatives like phenoxyethanol and polysorbate. Additionally, petroleum ingredients, including mineral oil and paraffin. Also, with petroleum products, they don't break down in the environment.
Consumer Reports reached out to the makers of all 7 brands and none responded. Another potential issue, fragrance and dyes.
They can both be hiding hundreds of other ingredients that don't have to get listed on the label.
Fragrance and dyes in personal care products and cosmetics are considered trade secrets in the U.S., which means they can be kept confidential, but could be linked to health concerns like cancer and endocrine disruption. Lotions with safer ingredients include California Baby Super Sensitive Everyday Lotion and Earth Mama Simply Nonsense Baby Lotion. These lotions may be pricier because natural ingredients cost more than synthetically produced ones. But since you only need to use lotion when your baby's skin is dry, it might be worth the extra money.
Fewer ingredients, better ingredients, that's what you want to do.
Consumer Reports also tested 10 baby lotions for lead and other toxic contaminants and found none.
Developing tonight, Israel says it has killed a top commander for Hezbollah in its latest bombardment on southern Lebanon. The 2-day bombing campaign has left more than 560 people dead. Thousands of others fled the area. Meantime, dozens of U.S. troops are heading to the Middle East to help Americans flee the region.
Right now, people in Florida are preparing for Tropical Storm Helene. Experts say the storm could strengthen into a Category 3 hurricane as it crosses the Gulf of Mexico. People now fortifying their homes in anticipation of strong winds and flooding. City officials in Tampa are providing sandbags for people in the community, as leaders say families need to prepare for anything.
Any battle with Mother Nature wins. And so you have to understand how quickly things can happen during a storm. So you don't want to wait to see how bad it gets before you heed the warnings.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has already declared a state of emergency. Forecasters expect Helene to make landfall on Thursday.
And Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell's back. You've been tracking Helene all day. You're here with the weather impact forecast and how it could affect and impact the bi-state.
It is going to impact us this weekend. In fact, the weather system that's over us now, kind of drifting into the middle part of the country, is actually going to help steer Helene or its remnants towards us. Right now, we're kind of focused in on Helene. Look at that bright red. That's where the intense thunderstorms are developing. This is off to the east of Cozumel. The center is over here about 100 miles east of Cozumel. It's still a tropical storm right now, but it will be moving over very warm waters here of the Gulf of Mexico. And gusts right now are to 70. We'll be probably at sustained winds above that by daybreak tomorrow, and then strengthening more so as we head through the day on Wednesday into Thursday. By Thursday evening, it's moving on shore, but the impacts will be felt across the state of Florida into southern portions of Georgia before then. And eventually, by the end of the week, into the weekend, this thing works its way back towards us. And yes, there is a weather impact in St. Louis. Thursday night into Sunday, it's tropical rain for us. Waves of tropical rain will start to arrive, we believe, on Thursday night. 1 to 3 inches of rain expected as an overall thought. The highest amount southeast of St. Louis, and it'll be a bit breezy, particularly on Friday. The biggest impacts for us locally, we think slower commutes on Friday, especially the afternoon commute when more widespread, heavier rain is likely. Outdoor plans, well, there's a lot of them this weekend. NHRA racing, you have big concert at Busch Stadium, you have the big concert in Forest Park Saturday and Sunday, the Evolution Festival. The outdoor plans in Florida have been adjusted, that's for sure. We're going to have to do some adjustment too. Tropical storm warnings in effect. Fort Myers up to Tampa, St. Pete, over to Orlando and Daytona Beach. The hurricane warnings are north of Tampa. They stretch up into the Florida Big Bend, east of Panama City. You go west of Panama City, out towards Pensacola, back into the tropical storm watch. It's here in the Big Bend. It's probably going to take the hardest hit with this storm, although the impacts are going to be pretty dramatic. Plus, in addition to the wind and the surge, you have the rain. This is what we'll look at here. 1 to 3 inches of rain likely, especially going south and southeast of St. Louis. Right now, a couple of little showers out there. Not much left, but this is that upper level system kind of dropping in. That's going to cause Helene to make that turn towards St. Louis. 64 degrees right now. Winds are calm. Clouds are still hanging in. Picked up 1/10 of an inch of rain this afternoon in St. Louis. Heading into the 50s overnight tonight. Some patchy fog. Any showers are ending in the next couple of hours. Tomorrow's mainly dry. See temperatures back into the mid-70s. It's the pick day of the week. Temperatures in the mid-70s. Thursday, mid-70s. The daytime hours Thursday feature increasing clouds, but mainly dry weather. And while not a weather impact alert for St. Louis, it's definitely having a weather impact on us for the end of the week because of that tropical rain and right into the weekend. So, make some adjustments to some of those plans or have a backup plan. And, we'll see how
pretty
things go.
unusual to see that make a left
To
turn.
get it, to hook left like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
All right, Scott, thanks. Frank Cusimano's here with sports.
Mike, we are going to show you a pitching phenom in the Cardinal organization. In the meantime, the Birds were in Colorado, and one of the greatest promoters in baseball history came to our town today. Stick around, please.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Telly Tire and Auto Centers, driving your way since 1942.
Even P.T. Barnum and Don King would have had trouble promoting the Cardinals and Rockies game tonight. However, youth was served, and it was impressive. How about their 22-year-old shortstop, Mason Wynn, with speed and a cannon for an arm? And this is home run number 15 on the season. Mason, buy yourself a nice home in town and stay a while, please. 24-year-old Michael McGreevy has looked good in his previous 2 outings. 10 innings, 1 run. Tonight, pretty good. 5 innings, allowed 3 runs, and he struck out 5. Then in the 8th inning, 22-year-old Jordan Walker with an RBI base hit. Moments later, it was 23-year-old Victor Scott with a base hit. Cardinals win in Colorado tonight, 7-3. Speaking of the future of Cardinal baseball, lefty prospect Quinn Matthews was honored today by Baseball America as their minor league pitcher of the year. The 23-year-old has climbed from low Class A Palm Beach to AAA Memphis in 1 season and became only the 2nd minor leaguer since 2011 to have 200 strikeouts in 1 season. The Blues continue to push towards their opening game 2 weeks from today against the Kraken. They'll have a squad traveling to Columbus to play the Blue Jackets tomorrow. Hoping to make an impression are the brothers Joseph. The older brother, Matthew, who's a forward, came from Ottawa. He's 27. And on defense is 25-year-old Pierre Olivier, who came over from the Penguins. I think their parents did a nice job because they sound like they really like each other.
We're best buddies, right? So we just, the second we see something, we just tell each other something. We're not really bad. We're not really sensitive people. Whenever you tell me something, I'm just gonna feel like you tell me that to improve my game or my person in general.
We're gonna keep each other accountable when it's going well and when it's not, and when we can help each other. I think he's the guy who knows me by heart the most. So obviously, his opinion matters.
Our town is often referred to as the soccer capital of the country. We prove it every year, and we'll have another chance to prove it later this year. The U.S. men's national team will be back in St. Louis on November 18th. It's the 3rd time the team will play at City Park, and arguably the most important. It will be the Nations League quarterfinal and the first ever home match for new head coach Mauricio Pochettino. It's a new era for the national team ahead of the 2026 World Cup.
He has a storied history, right? And he has a big, deep history in terms of player development, and for us that has a great and deep pool of players and a young pool of players, this really feeds in well to what he loves. As Pochettino said, we believe, you have to believe, and we really believe that we can be competitors leading in and during the 2026 World Cup.
We will have quite a story Sunday night on Sports Plus. Mike Veck, who was the featured speaker at the St. Louis Browns luncheon at the MAC today, is one fascinating sports figure. He's owned 6 minor league teams. He's also the author of Disco Demolition Night with the White Sox. The man has had some really clever promotions.
Lawyer Appreciation Night, Enron Night, gave me the idea because, we had shredders at the gates for Enron Night. We charged triple the face value of the ticket. So we sold concession items during Lawyer Appreciation Night, and we bill them every 3rd inning.
Oh my goodness.
Following in his father's footsteps.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bill, of course, who brought Eddie Goodell to the plate. But
Right.
there are so many promotions we're going to break into, and he's also just a fascinating guy.
Oh, I bet he is. Yep. All right, thanks, Frank. A big box store gets smaller when the blue lights will go out at one of the last Kmarts in the country.
Attention Kmart shoppers, the last full-size Kmart in the country is closing. Customers can still visit the Long Island, New York store before it closes on October 20th. There is still a smaller Kmart store in Miami, as well as there is also some large locations, but they're in Guam and the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Oh dear, a homeowner in California caught this deer on camera after it got stuck upside down between their house and garage. Fire crews were able to lift the poor guy upright with a rope before it was freed and released back into the wild. And officials say the whole rescue took only about an hour.
And Scott, is a final check of the weather impact forecast, and it's going to have a weather impact.
Yes, as we head
Tropical
towards
storm.
the end of the week, hurricane conditions for Florida. Here at home, just a few scattered showers out there right now. They're pushing away from St. Louis, and the bottom line here is tomorrow is your pick day of the week. 77 for the high, 77 on Thursday. Clouds are thickening by Thursday night into Friday and Saturday. That's when we really ramp the weather impacts from what's left of Helene. It'll spin back towards St. Louis. Yes, it's a little breezy on Friday. We're not too concerned about the wind, but 1 to 3 inches of rain, most of that coming from very early Friday morning to about midday on Saturday.
And there you have it, 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
Start your day with Today in St. Louis. Have a great tomorrow.